Secretary of State Marco Rubio continues to prove that he is in over his head and literally has no idea what's going on anywhere in the world at any given time. And he basically admitted as much during his conversation with George Stephanopoulos on ABC's This Week on Sunday. The confrontation between Stephanopoulos and Rubio got a little heated at times, but overall the takeaway is that Rubio repeatedly admitted he's got no idea what's happening anywhere, right? And of course, they were specifically talking about the blow-up that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance had this past Friday with Volodymyr Zelensky, president of Ukraine. And Rubio really couldn't make sense of any of it because he's a complete and total moron who doesn't know anything. Let me read you what Rubio had to say. The president is basically saying there's this horrible war. It's been going on for 3 years. It is a bloody stalemate, a meat grinder type war, and he wants it to end. How does it end? It's very simple. The only way it ends is if Vladimir Putin comes to a negotiating table. Right now, President Trump is the only person on earth who has any chance whatsoever of bringing him to a table to see what it is he would be willing to end the war for. And then he admitted that the Trump administration has no idea what Putin's demands were for a peace agreement. Maybe their demands will be unreasonable. We don't know, but we have to bring them to the table. I've said from the very beginning, maybe they don't want to deal either. We don't know, but we haven't talked to them in 3 years. That's also not true, by the way. But I do love how repeatedly he's like, I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Why are you talking to the Secretary of State about this? I don't know about world affairs. He's just admitting that he's an idiot. And this is the dumbass that we have in charge of things like this. When he was in the Senate, I had repeatedly said for years and years and years, he is the dumbest human being in the Senate. Of course, Tommy Tuberville now holds that title. But Rubio, for years, I've been telling everybody, he is just genuinely a stupid person. Very dumb, doesn't know anything about anything. And now this know-nothing is basically our foreign policy guy. And then he goes on the news 2 days after the blow-up in the Oval Office and is like, I don't know what anybody wants. Maybe they don't even want anything. Maybe they want everything. Maybe they want some things, but not others. It really, nobody knows. But we got to get them at the table. Yeah, no crap, dude. Biden tried to get him to the table for 3 years. Russia wants Ukraine. That's what they want. Okay? They will stop short of nothing less. So, I don't know what you're expecting him to do, but he wants at least parts of Ukraine, if not the entire country. He will settle for nothing less. But then, Stephanopoulos asked Rubio why the Trump officials refused to call Putin a dictator when they had so readily made the same claim about Zelensky. And Rubio got a little pissed here and he said, "We've spent 3 years calling Vladimir Putin names. That's not the point. We all understand that Putin is not going to be an easy negotiator. In this regard, we all get that, but we have to start the process to see if something is even possible. And I honestly am puzzled. I just don't understand." The Secretary of State went on national television, and when asked about the foreign policy conflict, he says, "I am honestly puzzled. I just don't understand." Well, first and foremost, Marco Rubio, thank you for literally confirming all these years of me calling you the dumbest person in the Senate. I feel validated right now. And I also feel horrified for the people of Ukraine, as well as for the people of the United States and everyone in Europe. Pretty much anybody that's not Vladimir Putin should be very worried about this dumbass that is admitting he doesn't understand. I don't even know things. If that doesn't send shivers down your spine, then nothing will. Like, we are so effed I can't even begin to explain the magnitude at which we are effed. But we are. And Marco Rubio is helping to exacerbate that. Stephanopoulos then goes, even some of your Republican allies are puzzled by the steps that President Trump has taken to placate Vladimir Putin. Then Rubio got super pissed and he goes, which steps has he taken? Which ones? Are we arming the Russians? No, idiot. But what we've done, Donald Trump has done as president, is that he's held negotiations without Ukraine, without anyone else from Europe. He has sat down with Putin himself and tried to work out a deal. That's placating Putin, cutting Ukraine and Zelensky totally out of it. That's not how you negotiate. So yes, that is placating. Hell, the Department of Defense just ordered all cyber operations against Russia to end. Like, we're not even checking on Russia anymore. My God, you could not placate Vladimir Putin anymore. So that's what it is, folks. We have the world's dumbest man, Marco Rubio, in the middle of a situation that he admits he doesn't understand. And we're supposed to feel confident about that. We're supposed to feel good. We're supposed to think that, hey, Ukraine's going to come out on top of this. Hell no, they're not. If Trump and Putin have their way, which I'm almost convinced is going to happen at this point, Ukraine will be carved up, most of it going to Russia, and some of it being sold to the Trump Organization to make some luxury resorts. Welcome to the Ring of Fire YouTube channel. I am Farron Cousins, the host of Ring of Fire here on YouTube. I don't know if this is your first time here, or maybe you're somebody who comes here every single day, but either way, let me tell you what's going on. Ring of Fire was actually started in the year 2004 by none other than our own America's lawyer, Mike Papantonio. And over the last 20 plus years, Ring of Fire has gone from being a 1-hour weekend radio program on Air America through a series of changes. Go Left TV, which we started back in 2007. We've been on the Young Turks network. And of course, this very YouTube channel here that started, obviously, as they all do, with no subscribers. And we've now ballooned to well over 1 million as we go on our way to that 2 million mark. So again, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. Take a few minutes, look around. We have content that actually goes back 20 years. So there's lots to see, there's lots to do. And trust me, with the next 4 years of Donald Trump getting back in office, we will be here every day, every single day with fresh content for you to keep you informed about what's happening and, of course, to warn you of the potential dangers that Donald Trump poses as we approach his second term.